This is the Signal 51 Chronicles. I'm John Henry. To my left here is my compadre, retired sergeant, the 4th Police Department, Jake White.
Hello. You're looking good. Looking good after a long night, Jen.
Had a long night last night. Played Rush.
Played Rush.
At the great Dickies Arena.
Well, good. I'm glad that one last night. Let me move over. Just when I thought I could get comfortable.
That voice over there is the wonderful Ashley, our producer extraordinaire. Yes, absolutely. We broadcast here from an undisclosed location in Fort Worth, Texas, on Fort Worth, Texas's west side. We come to you from the platform of Sunset Lounge DFW. Catch all their stuff. They've got how many shows they got going now, Ashley? 8 shows. Led by the great Mike Reiner. Your Dark Companion is what that one's called. Now you can hear that win. Mondays and Wednesdays. So Ashley, Jake, is a former soccer player.
Yes, we've heard.
CU.
We've heard. Goalie, I think, right? Yeah.
Ashley, are you, so I get... Jake is always talking about his English Premier League team. Always. Jake.
I don't know one thing about soccer.
Oh, he's
No, I really don't.
he's always calling me us. You know, he's got his English Premier League team. Very bougie. Got my English Premier League team.
No.
I'm unsophisticated because I don't have exactly. So anyway, Jake, tell me about your World Cup experience.
I did watch the game last night.
Norway and England? No.
No.
Argentina and Switzerland.
Yeah. Yeah, watch that. I don't know what's going on. My interest wanes very quickly in the middle of those games, man.
You're not exactly, you have adult ADD.
Yes. 100%. I'd say a severe case of it. But that's okay. I function with it.
What have you thought? What have been your impressions of the World Cup? Messi, is Messi the greatest?
I don't know. It doesn't move the needle for me. Look, I'm not saying it's a bad sport. I just don't know it. You have to realize, growing up in the Midwest, I don't recall soccer being the go-to sport.
Yeah.
So we would play.
Your parents didn't send you out there just to burn some energy and all that stuff?
No, yeah, we would, but not send you out there. It was send you into the gym. And you know those mats that are on each side under the basketball goals? Mm-hmm. They would just tape a box on there.
Yeah.
That was our version of soccer. Like, it wasn't outdoors. It was it's low budge generic, dude. It was bad.
And then we're talking about St. Joe?
Yeah. Yeah.
Missouri.
Yeah.
Did you guys have running water there?
We had running water there.
Bathrooms?
Yes, we had all of that.
Inside the house?
Yes.
Okay.
It wasn't that bad. It was a great place back in the day, I thought.
I'm sure it is.
Well, I don't know if it is now, but it was.
I've watched a little bit of the soccer. Now, I've gone down to Sundance Square. Went down there for the Mexico game.
A lot of people down there.
8,000 people, they say.
Oh, really? I didn't know it was that big. I just saw the overhead, aerial shots.
It was a lot of fun.
It looked cool.
They had a salsa band out there, and I think some dancers, and they were having a lot of fun out there. They won. Did you see the Mexico England? Was that England they played? Yeah, last weekend. Pretty good stuff.
No, I was in a very, very remote place last weekend.
Yeah. We'll talk about that later. Talk about bougie. Oh, oh, oh.
There was no Wi-Fi. How bougie can it be?
No what?
There was no Wi-Fi. My phone didn't work.
Oh, Wi-Fi. I think you said no Wi-Fi. I'm like, where was
No
she?
Wi-Fi.
Okay. You told me when we were prepping for this show that you've sold some houses down in Johnson County recently.
I have.
If you don't know, Jake is a realtor,
Yes, indeed.
and he sold some houses outside the loop
A lot outside of the loop, actually. That's where most of them seem to be.
down south.
Down south, out west, up north. I don't go out east too often.
When you were down there, did you happen to stop by the courthouse recently? Was there anything Was anything buzzing around the?
I actually did drive by the courthouse in the midst of all of this, and it was a little busier than normal right there in the Cleburne.
Yeah, it's like the old high school. Yeah.
Yeah.
The old high school.
Yeah.
Well, I speak of that because just concluded down there in Cleburne, Texas, the county seat of Johnson County, was the very salacious trial of the sheriff, Adam King, who was first elected sheriff in 2016. I think that he replaced the legend. We can talk about that in a minute. And he's won re-election twice.
Yep.
Building a reputation, of course, as this aggressive lawman. Because that's what you have to be as a sheriff. You know that.
As do you.
You've got to be, big, strong, tough guy to be a sheriff. And
Larger than life personality.
yes.
Yes, indeed.
Even though I don't know that Adam King's got a larger than life personality.
I don't know either.
Anyway, this image of his, whatever image he had, unraveled in the summer of 2025 after female employees complained of repeated inappropriate comments and conduct inside the sheriff's office. County officials referred this matter to the Texas Rangers to avoid the appearance of any local influence in Cleburne, Johnson counties. They've got a reputation, maybe not deserved, I don't know, being tight.
Okay.
So the Rangers' investigation alleged that the sheriff repeatedly made sexually suggestive comments to female employees, commented on their appearance, requested private meetings behind closed doors, and in one instance allegedly told an employee she would have to, quote, disrobe before paperwork would be signed. Another employee alleged that he told her that if she continued losing weight, she would make him, quote, do ungodly things. You ever told anybody that?
No, I have never.
You've never told?
There's never been a scenario in my life where that has happened. I actually don't know the mindset to pull something like that off. I don't know. I can't
Well,
wrap my mind around that.
now we have to keep in mind that the sheriff has repeatedly denied all this stuff.
Sure.
Could have swore I saw you say that to somebody once.
You know, you know better. Oh God, there's no way. You on the other hand.
No.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Let's get back to the sheriff.
Let's get back on topic here. Where are we going with this?
So I'm leading into this case.
Okay.
So the investigation expanded beyond alleged harassment. Prosecutors contended that after employees reported concerns, the sheriff retaliated against then Chief Deputy James Salter, who had cooperated with investigators. Those retaliation allegations ultimately became the centerpiece of this criminal case, whose trial concluded last week. Prosecutors argued King abused the power of his office to punish a whistleblower, the chief deputy, The defense argued the personnel actions were legitimate. It portrayed the case as the product of internal politics and an effort by these jealous rivals within the department to remove the sheriff. So King was ultimately indicted on felony retaliation charges and a misdemeanor official oppression charge tied to the harassment allegations. He later faced an aggravated perjury indictment related to grand jury testimony, although the retaliation case reached trial first. So this trial, held in Cleburne, of course, featured testimony from current and former sheriff's employees, Rangers investigators, and county officials. It included several dramatic moments centered on recorded conversations and conflicting testimony over who was telling the truth about the internal investigation. We had a he said, she said situation going on. Despite prosecutors resting after 2 weeks of testimony, the defense chose not to call any witnesses, not even the sheriff himself. They clearly didn't think the prosecution had proven its case. And after roughly 2 days of deliberations last week, the jury reported that it was hopelessly deadlocked, even after receiving a charge from the judge to continue deliberations. But jurors remained divided, with one juror refusing to change his or her position. And with that, the judge declared a mistrial on Wednesday, I believe, July 7th. And prosecutors now are weighing whether to retry the case. So joining us, Jake, is a longtime reporter of the Cleburne Times-Review, Matt Smith, who covered this trial. Matt, you cover county and civic affairs, right?
Yes, and everything in between, yes.
Of course, everything in between. When you work at the Cleburne Times-Review, you cover everything. Yeah. I worked there for a spell myself. That's where I met Matt Smith.
Okay.
Matt also does music reviews.
Nice.
Occasionally. Okay.
We were talking about music earlier. We have some similar.
Yeah, some upcoming concerts and and so forth. Yeah.
Heard y'all talking about the Clash.
Yeah.
Clash, yeah. Well, Peter Hook and the Light, and kind of touching on some of the.
Never heard of that in my life.
I'm missing out. Good stuff.
Yeah, it's good stuff. You've never heard of the Clash?
No, the Clash, not Peter Light. Peter
Hook.
Peter Hook. Yeah.
New Order.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I know New Order. Yeah.
Okay.
Why are you on my ass today?
I don't know.
I understand it.
You showed up late. I was hoping. I was like, oh man, when he shows up, it's gonna be just dragging ass. But no, you're not. You're on your A game today.
Sort of.
I'm impressed.
All right, Matt, let's get to this.
Yeah.
So for people who only saw the headlines, or even some who did,
Yeah, I mean, I'm just a couple.
what was this case really about? Is it fundamentally a sexual harassment case, a retaliation case, or a story about leadership inside the sheriff's office?
I'm thinking it depends on who you're asking, because for some of the players in there, it's sort of a divided sheriff's office and the internal culture of the office. But I think at the heart of it is Anna Goodlow, and when you get down to her allegations, whether you want to believe them or not, she's the one who was potentially victimized here. And so I've been thinking of, and I've talked to her some, but not a whole lot since this trial has started and ran its course, but kind of what's going through her head, because she's seen this, which would have been hard enough to go through this and then go to Salter and tell him, hey, this is happening. but then to see this sort of turn into a year-long sideshow circus that it's become with the trial and the pre-trial and the pro-Adam groups that are holding their prayer vigils and the, support the victims groups that are out there in front of the courthouse up to this. So I'm thinking it comes down to one person, really, and of course Salter and the others that were allegedly retaliated against too, but she's the one and any of the other female victims, but she's the one that they specifically have gone with in this trial so far.
And Anna Goodlow was the employee.
She's the training coordinator with the Johnson County Sheriff's Office, and her husband, may get to that in a little bit, is Dan Milam. He's the IT director for Johnson County, because there's a component of that ties in.
So is she a deputy or is she a civilian employee?
No, she's a deputy. She's they call her Dr. Anna Goodlow, but she's also I don't know exactly what her rank is other than training coordinator, but she is law enforcement, and she's been there for quite a while, and she's handled other duties, I'm sure, but she's sort of they have to ongoing training and so forth in different programs, and I think she kind of coordinates a lot of that stuff for them. And she had been in the office, and with COVID, she was able to work from home some and office some. I'm thinking, and that's sort of one of the allegations that Adam brought her back to the office. People are saying so that he would be able to see her and keep tabs on her and intimidate her. Anyway, we can get into those in a bit. But
and for context, do you know how big the sheriff's office is down there? I mean, how many deputies?
Yeah, that's. I knew that, and now that you ask me, I can't remember. I know Cleburne PD has about 50 officers or so I think the sheriff's office has 120 deputies, something. And I could be completely off, but I think that sounds right as I can recall.
Okay.
And Adam King succeeded Bob
Alford.
Bob Alford.
Yeah, Sheriff Bob, yeah.
Who was there for how long?
20-some years.
20-some-odd years.
Yeah.
He was kind of a legend, if you will.
Yeah.
I mean, he was actually on Conan O'Brien one.
Yeah,
Is that right?
Yeah, they did a segment out there at the sheriff's office.
What?
Oh man.
You can look that up on YouTube. Conan came out there, and it's like he's going through deputy training, and it's just a comical.
Oh, it's good.
It's worth looking up.
It's definitely worth watching.
And
Oh, it's funny.
I wonder how he chose Johnson County.
He was doing like a tour across the U.S. and was out in Dallas. I mean, if you're gonna cover a Texas sheriff,
Bob
back
Alford's
then,
the guy.
yes.
Yeah. So King, give us a little background on King. He's a PD, wasn't he, or was he in the sheriff's office?
yeah, he came up through DPS. I think he was in the drug task force before that. I did a story on him years ago as far as his life, and I'm trying to remember details because that's 10, 15 years ago.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's was sheriff for 20-some years. He's since still see him around, still run into him pretty often. But him and Adam, not so much get along there.
Who's that done?
Adam King and him, because
and who?
Alford.
Oh, Alford. Okay.
Because when Alford decided not to run again, he supported one of his chief deputies that also ran against Adam. Salter, Adam, and the other guy was, I want to say, Mark White.
So Salter ran. Did Salter run against him?
Yeah, Salter lives in Johnson County, but he had worked in law enforcement for years, but he'd been out in Hood County, I think, so he didn't work in Johnson County, which is kind of surprised when he jumped in the sheriff's race because nobody really knew him locally because he was over there. Everybody knew Adam because he had been on the drug task force forever, and
Yeah.
White would have been with the sheriff's office with Sheriff Alford forever. So, and when they went to a runoff between White and Adam King, Salter was the odd man out, and that's King.
Was that in 16 or in 20?
16,
Okay.
16, yeah. And then King, Salter liked each other, so King brought Salter on board when he won the election. So, but So anyway, Sheriff Bob, back to that. He's since then he's done a lot of film work. He does help set it with the what's the Taylor Sheridan shows and stuff. He's helped, I think, set up some stuff and some other local stuff that gets filmed.
He'd be ideal for.
He does some stuff, yeah, and he supplies horses and he supplies, things like that. But he's had some, I think, some little roles here and there, and so yeah.
So during this trial, I heard the allegation that I guess from King's defense, that this was all an effort to remove him from office.
Discredit and remove him, yeah. That's.
What do you think of that allegation?
I mean, they made a lot of allegations. They didn't offer any solid or hard evidence to it, and you had all these competing theories of that. You had that Salter was always gunning for the job.
Right.
Which King's term's up in 2028, so it's kind of, if Salter wanted to run, he could have just waited 2 years and ran. Is the thought, but Salter was gunning for the job. Anna Goodlow had it out for him because they recently adopted a new software program for the dispatch 911 and some other aspects of the department, and all the other departments in Johnson County share in that software. Well, everyone says it's just a total disaster. It doesn't work. It's pretty worthless. Well, Anna Goodlow's husband, Dan Milam, IT director, so when the Commissioner's Court is looking to adopt new computer software or equipment, they obviously, get his input. Mm-hmm. And but anyway, the theory on that is that Milam was all for this new software. It's called SOMA, and the sheriff and actually his accusers, everybody else on the law enforcement side, is just can't stand it and wants to get rid of it. But the county's already spent a bunch of money to purchase it. And so one of the theories was that Anna just sort of ginned all these charges up to take the heat off of her husband, which it doesn't really hold water either, because he can talk about and suggest software or computer equipment, but the commissioners are the ones who vote on that, and approve it. He can't approve it or take it away if it doesn't work. So, and there was the Tim Good, the new district attorney that took office on January 1st, 2025, beat out longtime district attorney Del Hanna, who'd been there for 30, longest serving district attorney in Johnson County history. And they obviously not big fans of each other. Tim Good used to work there as an assistant district attorney before he went to private practice for a while and came back and ran as a DA. Adam King supported Del Hanna in that race. Most of the law enforcement community, not just Johnson County, Cleburne PD and all that, a lot of them supported Good, including Salter and his other chief deputies, David Blankenship and Mark Reinhardt, and Danny Rogers, the captain, was another longtime friend of Adam's. So supposedly there was a rift there of that support of Adam for the one DA and support for the others. And I think that might be it. There might be one or two other theories that were floated, conspiracy type theories that were floated
on
there.
These internal power struggles.
Yeah, and then just the culture of the sheriff's office. But there was no, it was sort of wink, wink, nudge, nudge, more than there was, here's some paperwork, here's some evidence.
Right.
Yeah.
What you talk about culture, and I don't want to get ahead, but what currently, I'm sure you probably talked to some of the rank and file down there. Yeah. What is the vibe, or what is the culture? Is it a good, do the deputies see it as a strong place, a good place to work, or is there some term aside from these allegations?
Sure. No, well, I mean, I think leading up to this last year, it was pretty good because Sheriff King had got raises for the deputies and the staff. He had gone to Commissioner's Court at budget and gotten new equipment and updated equipment and so forth. And he tried to kind of run it like a family, I guess. But in the wake of this, people I've talked to and the people that testified at the trial and all, it's just sort of, they've still got to run a sheriff's office and address crime and people that need help in the county somehow, but then they've got all this background noise and drama going on. So it's just, and now you've got a sheriff that was initially barred from even going to the sheriff's office or any other county building. Then he was allowed to come in 3 days a week with supervision, and there's some allegations that he wasn't always supervised. I don't know true or not on that, but so you've got all that going on, and you've got people thinking like, with this trial's coming up, the trial was delayed by a couple of months. It was supposed to have been in May originally, and then that was after close to a year of pre-trial and everything. And so people thinking, well, when this is finally resolved, are some of us going to have jobs, or who's going to be in charge? And even now, it's the sheriff handpicked his interim acting sheriff and against the wishes of some of the people there, and some of the people there support him. But there's sort of a who's running this show right now, and just an uneasiness, I think, and at the same time trying to do their job and serve the public, take calls. So it's just kind of a uncharted territory, I guess.
Has there been any, I go down there a lot, and I probably, this is a rudimentary measurement, but I see the patrol vehicles, they're everywhere down there.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, so they seem pretty proactive. You don't see a ton of...
Specifically sheriff's deputies.
The sheriff's deputies. You don't see it or hear about a ton of crime down there, in the county or even really in the cities for that matter. But since this, has there been any kind of, allegations or scuttle about the services being impacted?
No, I don't think so. I mean, like USC, them going out, I see the arrest reports and stuff that they send to us, and some things call and talk on. So they're still doing, the deputies, the detectives, they're still getting out there and doing their job. They're just doing it under a kind of a background cloud of up in the air confusion, I guess. But their focus hadn't dropped, and they're still arresting the bad guys and helping out the people that need help down there. So it's just going along, just sort of choppy waters, but going along otherwise.
And Goodlow is she still an employee?
Goodlow's still there. She still works there, and I guess Adam's supposed to stay down in his office and not really go out of there. It's supposed to be supervised, and her office is around the corner down the hall, but I don't know that they actually interact or see each other much. But you still got the two of them together in the building, which it's a big building, but it's not a huge building. I mean, it's,
Yeah.
So.
What, if anything, surprised you the most after sitting through weeks of testimony that might not have been obvious before? And along those lines, who emerged as the most important witness in this case?
Well, most important witness, I think I'll go first. I would say Danny Rogers, when he testified, Captain Danny Rogers with
Captain. He's a captain.
Right, and I've known him, and I've actually known Adam. He's been with the paper for 21 years. I've known him pretty much all that time. Not, hang out.
Yeah.
But on
a professional basis.
Right, yeah. And same with Danny Rogers. He was with the Cleburne Police Department forever, and when he retired from there, and when Adam became king in 2016, he brought on Danny Rogers. He might have, I don't know if it was 2016, maybe a year later or something, but he brought him on too. And they've been friends forever. Danny Rogers is godfather to King's daughter. And him and his wife, and Adam and his wife, Tammy, who's head of the Johnson County Children's Advocacy Center, they hang out and all, or until this they did. But
what did he testify to?
He took the stand and testified in support of Salter and Goodlow, and he said from the get-go, this is hard, I don't want to be here.
Yeah.
And you got this big 40-year cop, strong guy, he's choking up and holding back tears and saying, I love Adam, he's my brother, and so I don't see it's hard to see him going against Adam
Right.
King without. But he was also saying, I've known Anna Goodlow I've never known her to lie. I've known her to be a good, upstanding, honest person, and kind of, can't imagine why she would be making these charges up if they
Weren't true.
weren't true. Yeah, and so. And then the other one would be Cody Carroll, was a jailer. He still is. He's still out there as a jailer that Adam, I don't know if you call promoted or hired to be his personal assistant and his personal or his spiritual bodyguard.
Yes.
Yeah.
Explain that. Yeah.
Well, they didn't really get into that, and I think that might be one reason why King, because I think it was King that wanted to take the stand more than his attorneys wanted him to, and I've talked to Bill Mason and them and Matt Smith afterwards, but they're just sort of saying, yeah, we didn't think we needed to, as far as they didn't prove their case. But I wouldn't be surprised if there's they were probably telling Adam, trying to talk him out of that, taking the stand. That's why they didn't call anyone. And the big part of that would be numerous things, but as far as that personal spiritual bodyguard, and the one witness was talking about him saying how Satan was attacking the jail, and I'm sure that the prosecutors would have jumped all over
Right.
that stuff on cross. But
Have you witnessed Satan at the jail at all?
no, I was asking the prosecutors if they were going to subpoena him to the stand, actually. But it turned out they didn't end up having to do that. But I'll keep an eye out next time I'm there. But no. So Cody Carroll was basically he's a jailer, and I think he's worked there for a couple of years. So he's low man on the totem pole, and certainly he knew of Salter and King, but wouldn't have had any regular interaction with those guys. And so King hired him to be his assistant and his whatever spiritual bodyguard,
Yeah.
whatever that entails. But so that had him going through surveillance tape to see, and I think he thought he was just going to help out Adam with paperwork or something. I don't know what he was expecting. But so he's got him watching videotape to see who's going to Anna and or Salter's office. And him and King are following one of the female employees around when she's out running around to see if she's going to the courthouse or the DA's office to make allegations and all this stuff. So he had nothing to do with this case, at the get-go, and he got kind of taken advantage of or roped in, and then once his use was done, after 2 or 3 weeks, they just sent him back to being a jailer, and I don't think they even gave him a raise for his temporary spiritual bodyguard assignment there. But so I mean, you feel that, and he's a young kid, and you just feel like this guy's got no dog in the hunt here, and he's up here testifying this stuff, and he's there's no way he can benefit by saying King's a bad guy or a good guy. He's just so I think that was pretty impactful to jurors.
So, who were the prosecutors on this case?
Stephanie Bosworth, who is actually Judge Bosworth's wife.
Oh, okay.
Judge Bosworth is the 413th District Judge. Obviously, he recused himself from the case
Yeah.
because he's been judge for years, and he knows. I don't think they're buddy, but he knows Adam King. None of the judges there were going to take that case for
Right.
appearance sake. Stephanie actually has been elected as the new county court at law judge, but she doesn't take office till January 1st.
Okay.
But she's still in the DA's office. Christy May has been there for a few years. She was I think Christy was the lead on it. And Jason Judd, who's another newer.
Yeah.
So Stephanie's, but
She's got some skins on the wall.
yeah, and Christy's a good one, and she's they're pretty young, Christy and Jason Judd's probably the youngest on there, and Tim Good. Obviously the DA doesn't sit in on cases that often, but he didn't want to be in it because he was on the potential witness list. He didn't end up getting called, but he was, so that
Gotcha.
Yeah.
And the defense, he had some high-powered Fort Worth attorneys in there, right?
Mark Daniel,
yeah.
and Matt Smid, who works with Daniel at Daniel's law firm. Who Smid had been out in Johnson County. He had been with the DA or the assistant county attorney. I can't remember. He's from here. And then Bill Mason, who's a longtime Cleburne attorney. I've got dozens and dozens of cases that he's been on that I've covered for the paper.
Yeah.
So.
And the visiting judge.
Yeah.
William Allen Weeks. What?
Weeks. Yeah, he was.
Did I have that right? William Allen Weeks.
Yeah.
Where's he from?
He was in Abilene area.
Okay.
I think he's retired now.
Yeah.
And so the administrative judge, Bosworth's administrative judge for the Johnson County, but the administrative judge over the region, I'm not exactly sure how that works, is out here in Fort Worth. I know his name, I can't remember it. He's the guy that appoints when a judge is on vacation.
Yeah.
And if there is another, if they do a retry, it'll probably be Weeks again. He's still assigned to the case. He could request that they assign someone else, because I was kind of joking with one of the attorneys. I said, I'm betting Weeks probably never wants to see Johnson County again after this, but but so far he's still assigned to it.
So, however it transpired, whether the defense talked him out of it or whatever, King ultimately did not testify.
No.
In fact, the defense didn't call
anybody at all.
Any witnesses. So how significant do you think that decision was?
I mean, I think it was the right call, because I think the jurors, 11 of them anyway, were pretty much already had their minds made up. And then if King would have gotten up there, some of those witnesses they had up there for hours, for 2 days.
Right.
And so I'm sure they would have had King up there for something like that, at least 2 days. And the prosecutors would have gone after him, and they would have brought up that whole Satan attacking and just other charges of other women. They did, I guess it kind of backfired on them with the child that he allegedly had out of wedlock that turned out, then the jurors never heard any of that anyway, but they had other things that they were
they would have needled him with.
So again, I don't know. I didn't know anything about this. So kind of going back to the beginning.
Yeah.
Walk me through how did all of this initially come to the surface?
So, summer of 2025, James Salter, he's the chief deputy, he's the number 2 guy in the sheriff's department. There's 3 chief deputies, but he's the chief deputy among chief deputies, I guess. So Anna Goodlow, who'd worked there for a long time, came, said, kind of talk to you, and goes in his office, and they sit down and talk, and she tells him about these allegations that King had allegedly said, if you keep losing weight, I can't be held accountable for what
ungodly things.
Okay.
You don't want to know what I did to women that wore white pants back when I was younger, and those type of things.
It's uncanny how similar this is to things I've heard you say before. But anyway,
there you go. So
anyone who knows me knows that's about the furthest thing from the truth.
Well, there were other women initially in the initial arrest warrant and stuff that had made comments, and they sort of haven't been revisited. So I don't know where that is, but anyway, so Anna made these. And Salter said, him and King were good friends. They'd only met back in 2016 as far as when they ran against each other. But, he brought him on board as the number 2 guy and getting along and all. And he was conflicted. So he brought in Mark Reinhardt and David Blank, the other 2 chief deputies. And at some point, Danny Rogers, maybe immediately. But anyway, and they were talking because usually if you get a sexual harassment or any kind of harassment complaint, you take it to the guy above you, and maybe ultimately the sheriff. Well, here the sheriff's the guy getting accused, so they're like, what do we do with this? And they were kind of saying, you know, they believed Anna, and they knew her, and they had respect for her. So they were kind of saying originally we were just hoping it would go away, and they separated them where if they knew if he was going to be in her office or she had to go to her office, one of them would always show up. And they did that for a few days, and they finally figured out, you know, this isn't workable. So
that was
the original sort of a.
Yeah, I don't think that plan's going to work out so hard.
No, just run interference for a while, and they quickly, but, and that's according to Salter's testimony and some of the others here. And then finally, Salter was like, I don't know, so he went to the personnel director for the county, and he went to Chris Badeker, the county judge, Johnson County judge, and they conferred and pointed it over to the Texas Rangers, and they took on, because they did try to get Cleburne Police and I think Burleson Police. I think they went to Tarrant County Sheriff.
Yeah, I think so. I think I read that.
And they were all like, nah, we don't want to.
Yeah.
We're too close. We don't, you know.
Ain't touching this.
Yeah, and so they went with the Texas Rangers, and they came back with the, you know.
Results.
The investigative results that, and then shortly after that, Salter was brought in, and defense and prosecutors differ on the terminology, but he was put on leave.
Right.
And the reason given as far as the paperwork that Adam King signed was that he had talked about, there was a former office manager, Karen Charles. She's got cancer and has since passed away a couple of years ago, but apparently the rumors swirling were that King and Karen Charles were having an affair. And depending on who you talked about, this was kind of general knowledge at the sheriff's office and talked about or whispered about by everybody, or it wasn't general knowledge. And so Salter and Hogan, Ben Hogan is a lieutenant. He's one on the kind of Adam King side of things. Was in Salter's office after these allegations of Goodlow had come out, and he's saying, well, if all this is true, apparently, allegedly is what he said, he's saying, I wonder if the stuff about Karen Charles is true. And James Salter said, oh yeah, allegedly, according to Hogan, he said, oh yeah, he's definitely
Blanking her.
And well, Hogan ran to Adam King and told him, supposedly, again, and then Adam suspended him for, you know, bringing dishonor onto the sheriff and the sheriff's office, blah, 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 even though that had never been done before that anyone can remember. So the timing of it is what the prosecutors are saying, you know, that's real funny.
Did you ever talk to the ranger or the rangers that conducted the investigation?
No, I said hi to guy's name. He testified. He was up there forever, but I didn't, and I don't really know him. I knew the ranger, Stoner was the ranger that appointed him. That used to be the Texas Ranger here, but he's since been promoted to Austin. But at the time, he was the supervisor of the guy that did the investigation.
So did you see any of the, you know, obviously probably saw the arrest warrant
Yeah.
for King.
Yeah.
Did you see any of the other, in trial, were any of the other investigative pieces or evidentiary pieces covered in the trial, like, you know, any kind of recorded interviews?
And they did recorded. They didn't. King had cameras in his office, so they had some video of him and his guys in the office talking, including that Cody Carroll guy was talking about earlier that he got. And then as when the ranger was up, there was some just from his reports and stuff that was put on the overhead for the jury to look at, and so I made notes of it and looked at it, but I didn't dive in deep on it because kind of stuff I'd already seen in the arrest.
So in the trial, so he was charged with official oppression.
Yeah, he actually had 4 charges, but they went with one.
Okay.
So if you want me to run, there was official oppression by retaliation against James Salter, official by retaliation against Anna Goodlow, then the sexual harassment charge against Goodlow, and then there was the perjury charge, which was subsequent after the grand jury. So, and they went with the retaliation against Salter charge, and obviously they had to bring in the background of how that, the Goodlow stuff and all. And they told me at the time when the trial opened, Christy May and them, that I asked if they were going to try him on the other charges subsequently, and they kind of gave a vague, yeah, maybe we'll, but that's to be determined type answer.
So we had this is like with any internal investigation, right? So you have two pieces. You have in this case, you had your criminal component to it, i.e. the trial, the charge of official oppression, but then you're going to have your internal piece to it as well. Was there any, and they don't have to coincide, right? Just because it was a mistrial on the criminal charges doesn't mean that that misconduct did not exist.
Sure.
I mean, the burden of proof is different.
Right.
Speak.
Yeah.
So
Internal investigation, you're saying.
yeah. So was there any kind of discipline? Did he get any type of discipline?
King, you're talking?
Yeah.
No, because I mean, he's an elected official, so none of you have the county judge is kind of the head of the county, and the commissioner's court is roughly analogous to like the city council and the mayor, sort of, not exactly, but the county judge is over several departments. You have elected officials and department heads, and the county judge or any elected official has certain department heads that he hires or appoints, and that he or she can, well, with the county judge, he'd have to go through commissioner's court, I think, but he can fire or discipline them. But one elected official and another, and you've got, the county judge, the sheriff, you've got district clerk.
They're completely independent.
Yeah, they're like their own little kingdom. So the county judge can't fire the sheriff or discipline the sheriff. So that's why one of the reasons for the independent investigation with the Texas Rangers. So if there's a finding of wrongdoing or suspicion, they have to take that to the DA, who takes it to the grand jury, who says, yeah, there's enough to move ahead with charging on this. And so that has to be done, I guess, like a referendum or recall by the voters, but otherwise it'd have to go through the court process. So
there's not.
So they can't. Chris Bedecker, the county judge, can't give Adam King a demerit or a strike against him or anything.
So I guess the question is, there was no internal.
There was. That's no
internal investigation.
Long answer to your short question. Yeah. So,
See, that's what that. I mean, there is no. Like I said, they're two separate concepts. But in summary, it sounds like nothing internally
was even
done or could be done, for that matter.
Right. Probably not.
Now, but what happens now with Goodlow and Salter?
well, Salter's subsequently been fired. Like I said, the trial was originally supposed to start in May, and Salter was fired like a week or so before the trial was originally supposed to start. So he's fired, and Goodlow's still there and showing up to work, as are Blankenship and Reinhardt and the others. Because there are two civil cases against the sheriff that will happen down the road, and Salter and Goodlow are parties in that, as are Reinhardt, Blankenship, and some other people. So, but those other people are all showing up and going to work, and Adam is there supposedly 3 days a week.
He's still on that modified?
Yeah, modified, yeah. And I asked his attorneys if that would change, and he said, I mean, we could, or the prosecutors could come and try to, modify that, but as far, they're still in place for now until whatever happens, happens.
That's a year, what? Yeah. A year and a half, another year and a half until
he's up for
or 2 years, however, whenever the next election is in
2028 would be his
2 years. Yeah.
I mean, that's a long time.
Yeah, it is.
Sure.
Yeah. I mean.
And what else comes up? What else comes out?
I don't know, but it's going to be a mess. It sounds like to me.
I mean, it's not going to be functional.
Right. Well,
I mean, how does Goodlow needs, authorization for XYZ training that costs $10,000? Do you think he's going to sign off on that? Mm-hmm. Right? I mean,
well, see, and when Adam King put himself on administrative leave and appointed Ben Areola as acting sheriff, so anything that they have to go through Areola. Areola goes to Adam. Adam says yay or nay. Areola goes back to them. So you got that, kind of like on the Brady Bunch when they ran the tape down the room, and you stay on that side. But so they're dealing with that craziness. Yeah, and go ahead.
There was one of the stories I did read. I guess some fears about some kind of child exploitation material. He had a fear of that.
Yeah. That goes back to Dan Milam, the IT director. So there's a King's, I guess, work computer, his laptop, has gone missing, and nobody ever actually asked him where is it. So it's where it is, who knows for now. And that's his, his county-issued laptop computer, and he stopped using that, saying that he's afraid that Milam would get on there or access it remotely or however and put child porn on there so that they could say, oh, look at there, the sheriff's got child porn. And another, one of the theories of the people out to get Adam King. And
I mean, and maybe, I don't know, maybe this is not anything unusual for, I hesitate to call Johnson County a rural county at this point, right? I mean,
it's in a mix. At
yeah,
point.
It's kind of a hybrid.
what is the population in Johnson County these days?
Like 170, I want to say.
And most of that's in Burleson, right? I mean, there's like 50,000. Of course,
Yeah.
Burleson is, you've got a little bit of Tarrant County in it.
Right.
Yeah.
But I mean, especially since the toll road opened.
Yeah.
They're building like crazy, and Godly, is
Development follows the major arteries.
Yeah. And out there towards Venus and all that is house built, because 360 is going to be connecting in as a eventually on that side of the county. So
What's that sheriff's job pay?
100 and something a year.
Yeah.
I don't know exactly. I know, probably 100 and change.
It surprised you at all that, and of course, typically it's the defense that wants to change the venue.
Right.
They obviously didn't want to do that in this case, but did it surprise you the prosecution did?
Yeah, it did. And I'm thinking if they do have another one, I would not be surprised. I'm kind of expect that they will have it somewhere else.
Almost have to, right?
Yeah. I don't know where that would be, but yeah.
Especially for an elected official. I mean, Lord knows you're going to run into somebody who's just absolutely adamantly not going to look at this objectively.
Yeah. I mean, that's the Facebook, because I was in there when they did jury selection, and that took all day on not the first day of the trial, but the day before the first day. And, they asked, do you know the sheriff, or do you know anybody, the judge or anybody? And some people did, and they obviously didn't get on there, but one of the Facebook, rumors is that one of the jurors knew him and somehow got on the jury, which sounds like a John Grisham novel and would be near impossible to pull off. But the one thing is that the one juror just couldn't convict for whatever reasons of like personal or religious or moral or whatever. And so the other 11 just argued with that juror over 2 days' time and finally just
gave up.
The impasse. Yeah. And so, but
you know what's bullshit though? Like, who pays for this, right? The rank and file, because I can, obviously in that world for a little bit, there's going to be so much turmoil. Like I said, that training example, trying to get anything done is going to be difficult now. So they're paying for it, whether it be through training, equipment, whatever. Which side of the aisle were you on in this whole thing? Because I can guarantee you half those deputies, half are probably for them, half are probably against it, right? So if you're in that against camp, you're not getting, that training, that equipment, whatever it is that you need. So then who ultimately pays for it?
The citizens, the taxpayers.
The residents of Johnson County.
Yeah.
Which is terrible. I mean, at the end of the day, with them paying for it, there is a chance that the services provided will certainly suffer. And that to me is, like I said, that's the total bullcrap part of it, that they can't make adult decisions and do the right thing. Is there an element of ego, pride? I mean, how can you effectively run a sheriff's department with that cloud hanging over you? You either fire everyone, more or less, or you leave.
Any chance of that? That Sheriff King quits before his term is up, or that he doesn't run again in 2028?
Yeah, I'd heard unconfirmed, totally unconfirmed, before all this came up, that the plan was for him to not run again in 28, and his wife, who is, like I said, executive director of Johnson County Children Advocacy Center, she's been there for, 30 years or something, that she was going to retire, and they were going to retire and go do what they were going to do. And then all this came up. So I don't know what this has done to their finances as far as having to pay for Mark Daniels and that bunch.
Yeah.
So I don't see him running again in 2028, but stranger things have happened. I don't know that what he'll do. I guess he'll just hang around for the interim.
So he faced 2 to 10 years.
Right.
Probation and restitution.
Yeah.
He also would have had to give up his seat or his position.
Office and
had he been convicted.
I wonder if there's a chance where the DA's office tries to cut a deal with them.
To take off.
You're gone. We won't retry it.
Yeah, and that's what I was thinking, because when I was asking the DA, the attorneys there, whether they're going to do the other charges, I was thinking if they would have got a guilty verdict on this, whether it was 2 years or 10 years or whatever, he's out of office, he's gone, and this is just me, personal opinion, that they probably weren't going to bother with those other cases because they didn't want to go through all that time and expense, and they've got plenty of other unrelated cases to deal with out there. So
I mean, financially, it might be worth it just to not have to go through this again and just leave.
Yeah, I would think so. Yeah. I mean, because rest assured, those particular attorneys, they're not cheap.
No.
I mean, I don't know that you could. I mean, they're good. They're good at what they do.
Certainly.
But that comes with a hefty price tag. And again, I mean, I like I said, I mean, I'm looking at it more through the lens of why, I wouldn't want to make everybody else pay. Even if it was complete bullshit, there was no element of truth to any of this. You got screwed, but you're still making the people in Johnson County, they are going to suffer.
Yeah.
In some way, shape, or form. That's what's frustrating. And I guess I didn't think with it being an elected position. Yeah. I mean, there are no, there's criminal consequences, but that's it.
Right.
I mean, that's kind of mind-blowing.
That's the only avenue they had for to take this on.
Oh, the civil cases, whatever become of those, because Johnson County's named in both of those as well as Adam King. So, and one of them's seeking $50 million, and the other is seeking
Good grief.
Damages of at least $250,000 for each of the, I think it's 6 plaintiffs. I think some new people have jumped in there, but yeah.
Was there any kind of did anyone surreptitiously record him in any of the?
No, and that's what, because the Daniel and them were suggesting, why didn't Anna Goodlow, when they were talking to she didn't testify in this trial, but when they're talking to the Texas Ranger and other people, they said, well, why didn't you mic up Anna Goodlow and send her in there to talk to sheriff? And Christy May, and she flipped out, and we don't re-victimize our victims, and that's ridiculous. And so there's nothing, and I think that's why they went initially with the retaliation against Salter, because there all they had to prove was that Salter, in good faith, when Anna came to him with these allegations, thought, hey, this, who knows, but it sounds like there's enough here that this needs to be looked at and investigated, and he went and reported it, and King allegedly retaliated against him. So in that trial, you're not dealing with the truth or not of Anna's allegations of sexual harassment. You're dealing with whether Salter was retaliated against and for reporting in good faith. And I think that's probably easier or they thought it was probably easier to prove than, because with the Salter, with the Goodlow things, all of those were Adam and Anna in, I guess, his office or her office. I don't think any of those were in front of other people or recorded or witnessed. So,
All right. That's Matt Smith, longtime reporter of the Cleburne Times-Review. Thank you, Matt, for joining us today.
Yeah, thanks, Matt.
Glad to be here.
Quite insightful reflections there. What the hell was I going to say? Thank you, Matt.
You're welcome.
No, that's it for us today. Where can they find us? They can find us on. You guys can find us on Sunset Lounge DFW or the Signal 51 Chronicles. Like, subscribe, however it happens, and we will see you guys next time. What a mess that is in Johnson County.
This is a Stolen Water Media production.